Thank you, Justice Msaneke. Today we have a witness from Enka House. But before that, maybe we would like to address you, Lordship of Justice Msaneke, with the issue of witnesses pertaining to the subpoenas which have been issued or the possible presence of the MEC, as well as Dr. Manamela and Dr. Esidimeni. I'm not sure whether I should address you on that or should I invite the other parties to do so.
Well, the first thing I'd like you to raise your voice.
Thank you.
Also because there's just so many people who want to hear what you are saying. Yes. Well, council may pick who would like to start. Let's start with talking about the attendance of Dr. Manamela at these proceedings.
Yes.
What is the state of play? Where is she? And when will she be here?
As regards Dr. Manamela, a subpoena was issued by Section 27. However, there was a mistake that is on the dates.
Shall we get Section 27 to speak to that?
27, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justice.
Ms.
Thank you. As Mr. Ngutana indicated, Section 27 did issue a subpoena calling on Dr. Manamela to appear today. There was unfortunately a mistake in the subpoena with the date, and so Dr. Manamela's attorneys addressed correspondence to us, raising that as one of two grounds that, one of two reasons that she wouldn't be in attendance today. The other reason, on that note, we are in the process of reissuing a subpoena calling on her to appear at a later date. The other issue
What date is later date?
Justice, my instructions at this stage are that we're looking at the 5th of December, but we are discussing with the other parties in line with our conversations about the length of the arbitration, further dates for availability, and in November, and we will very soon make a decision as to what those dates are and when we should be calling Dr. Manamela. So we will update you, Justice, as soon as we can on that issue. The other challenge Dr. Manamela's attorneys raised is that there is currently an appeal by Dr. Manamela against the Ombuds report and the findings and recommendations specifically in relation to Dr. Manamela. We differ with them, and I understand that Mr. Ngutana sent a letter asking the attorneys to come and make representations on that issue, and I think he can perhaps address you on their response.
Very well. Counsel.
Thank you, Justice Msaneke. It is indeed correct. I received communication from Dr. Manamela's attorneys on Saturday morning. I responded later on in the day that inviting them to come and address those issues which they intend to raise. I'm not sure whether I can read some of which are on record. The letter is quite short.
Are they here?
No, they are not here, but I have since received a response from them to my email, and which response I received it just now. And basically, they are saying that the notice inviting them to attend here is too short. They would not be present here today. But insofar as an invitation has been extended to them to make their or to raise their issues in writing or in a form of an application, the undertaking is that they can do so on the 6th of November. That is next month. So basically, they are not going to appear today. So we should then await for the next date of the hearing to which they have been invited.
Aren't you going to issue a subpoena to Dr. Manamela in the normal way of any witness? And if the objections to it, those legal objections must be raised.
Correct.
And isn't it so that we have to get a subpoena going on a fixed date and which she is going to appear here? And if there are any objections in law, she's entitled to raise them, and she must choose at which forum and how they are raised.
Correct, Justice Mosaneke. A subpoena will be issued, the corrected subpoena will be issued with the correct date and time, inviting her to come and raise those issues.
And it's not a choice of a witness when they have to appear.
Correct.
The subpoena tells you when to appear.
Correct, Justice.
And if you're unable to appear for any good reason in law, you raise it and state it. So, counsel, when in light of all that, what are the next steps?
Justice, the next steps in which we anticipate will happen very quickly are to finalize the availability of the parties in November, and from there see if we can call Dr. Manamela to appear in November. If not, then we will issue a subpoena for the 5th of December and deal with whatever arises and any objections that arise from there.
Yeah. As soon as there's certainty, and I want confirmation that the subpoena has been sent out, and that must be done promptly, and if there are any challenges to it, we must be able to deal with them as and when they arise.
We will do that, Justice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the, yes, Counsel, is there anything else you want to say on the attendance of Dr. Manamela before this arbitration proceedings?
Well, correct, Justice Mosaneke. The subpoena will be directing her to appear, that is on the next date of the hearing. So the date will be provided to, that is to them. Not that we're waiting for them to appear here on the 6th or so. So the date will be provided to them as well as the correct time on which they are expected to appear.
Yes.
Those are the only issues I have insofar as Dr. Manamela is concerned.
Thank you. And when will Dr. Silibano appear here, and what arrangements have been made to procure his attendance?
Thank you, Justice. With regard to Dr. Silibano, we have issued a subpoena which has been sent to the sheriff for service. The date set for Dr. Silibano's appearance in these proceedings will be on the 4th of December 2017. We are, however, awaiting a return of service from the sheriff indicating that indeed the subpoena has been served. But the date which has been chosen for the doctor's appearance is the 4th of December.
And before issue the subpoena, the doctor was asked to appear voluntarily, and did he decline?
Justice, there's been correspondence between my instructing attorneys, Mr. Karabo Motswani, who has indicated that there's been resistance from Dr. Silibano that he did not intend to appear in light of the issues which he wanted to raise, amongst others, the proceedings which are still pending before the tribunal, wherein he's challenging the findings of the ombudsman. And those are some of the issues that were raised that indicated his unwillingness to come and appear before these proceedings. But despite those exchanges and issues having been raised, we deemed it appropriate that we should, however, in fact proceed to issue the subpoena. And if there's any objection in relation to the subpoena, we'll then have to take whatever steps available in order to ensure that there is appearance before these proceedings.
Thank you ever so much. Does any of the council would like to say anything else in relation to the attendance and appearance of Dr. Silibano? Very well. That gets us then to the MEC, Ms. Tretani Masango. What are the arrangements to secure her attendance? before this arbitration proceedings?
Thank you, Justice. Once again, I should indicate that there's been correspondence exchanged between my instructing attorney from Worksmans, Mr. Motswani, in relation to the appearance of the former MEC. And the former MEC is being represented by a firm of attorneys, Mkabeja Madlanga Incorporated. There's been an exchange of emails trying to seek to agree on a date which the former MEC can come and appear. The indication that has been given was that she will only be available to appear before these proceedings from the 29th to the 31st of January 2018. However, what we have decided to do is that we have taken a decision to ensure that a subpoena is issued against her for her appearance in these proceedings on the 6th of December. The only difficulty that we are trying to resolve is to get the details of her whereabouts. The attorneys have requested the former MEC's attorneys for her actual address where the subpoena will be served. We are on course to ensure that that subpoena should be served so that she should be able to appear on the 6th of December.
Thank you, Counsel. That is helpful. Thank you. To your attorney too, Mr. Motswani. Would any of the Counsel want to say anything about what has just been communicated in relation to the attendance and appearance of the former MEC, Ms. Qedani Mahlangu?
Yes. Perhaps just the, just trust that our colleagues will inform us as to the status of that subpoena so that we can know what will happen in December. And if she indeed will be available on the 6th of December, I think it's a highly anticipated issue. And, we would just like to keep the families informed of the process thereof. So I think that should just be noted that we be provided with the necessary updates as to the status of the subpoena and her willingness to come and testify.
Thank you, Counsel. I'm sure a colleague has heard you and will keep all of you informed, starting with me and all of you about the state of the subpoena, its service, and ultimate attendance. Of course, we have already agreed that we will have, towards the end of these proceedings, the evidence of the current MEC of Health, Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, the evidence of the Premier of Gauteng, Premier Makura, as well as the evidence of the National Minister of Health, Dr. Motsoaledi. Are those preparations on track, Counsel?
It is indeed correct, Justice. The three officials have been prepared to make appearance during these proceedings. I should, however, indicate that given the time that is available, we are trying to work with the other parties in order to arrange dates during which they will be appearing. There are agreed dates which are available. However, those days will be utilized for other witnesses. But we will endeavor to ensure that we find an agreement on the exact dates during which those officials will be coming through to testify. They have indicated their willingness to come and appear before these proceedings and give their account.
Yes.
The dates will only be confirmed at a later stage once we have agreed with the legal representatives of the family members.
Yes, and I'd like to say this is quite important, that these proceedings will certainly end this year, and they will end not later than December, and that is the first 2 weeks of December at the very latest. So all council should expeditiously attend to these matters so that we can have these cardinal witnesses to be here, which allows time for deliberations immediately after the second week of December. Is there any other matter which any of council would like to raise and place on record before we go on to evidence? How are we doing with Legal Aid South Africa and a more complete list of survivors of the Marathon Project?
Thank you, Justice. Justice, from our side, we have appointed a group of attorneys to attend to go to hospitals and so forth. We have a list of, I think it's 56 patients at the moment. We are in a position to present some evidence at this stage. Obviously, we don't want to finalize that list as yet, but we will be in a position to do it shortly. We have the manpower now to assist us.
Thank you. Is there any other matter which council would like to raise now before we proceed with evidence? There being none, council?
Thank you, Justice Musaneke. The next witness is Dorothy Franks from Anchor House or Home.
Ms. Franks, good morning.
Good morning, Justice.
Would you put your full names on record?
I am Dorothy Evangeline Franks.
Ms. Franks, do you swear that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? And if so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
In what language do you prefer to testify?
English, please,
In English.
Justice.
Counsel?
Thank you, Justice Musaneke. Ms. Franks, I'm sorry, Ms. Franks, where are you currently employed?
I'm not employed at the moment.
In 2016, what occupation were you involved in? 2016, 2015?
Okay, 2015, I was actually employed at the AFM Revival Center.
20 what?
15.
From what period to what period?
Okay, it was from 2013 to 2016, February.
2016 February.
Yes.
From 2013. What is that organization?
It's AFM Revival Welfare Organization.
And what were you employed as?
I was employed as a manager for the mental patients.
A manager for mental patients?
Yes.
And what is your educational background?
Okay, I was working at CETA before, and I was just a financial credit controller.
Financial credit controller.
Yes.
Any qualification in the care of mental patients?
No.
You don't
I was
have?
just working in the welfare department.
Okay.
You're working as a financial controller at CETA.
Yes, Justice.
Which CETA was it?
It's States Information Technology.
State Information Technology. Thank you.
Yes. Any experience you have had in taking care of mental patients? Have you had that?
No, I didn't had any. I was just working in the welfare department and just doing welfare work for the church.
Okay. For the church?
Yes.
Okay. Then, do you know the entity called Anchor House or Anchor Home?
Yes.
How do you know it?
Okay, I registered the NPO for myself as Anchor House, Anchor Center.
When did you register it?
Sorry, its formal name was Anchor Center.
Center, yes.
And you say you registered it?
That's right,
Yes.
under social development.
When did you register it?
Okay, I received my NPO certificate on the 12th of April,
Yes. And you had registered it as...
April of which year?
2016.
Yes.
And you had registered it for what purpose?
Okay, for the mentally disabled people.
Why did you do that?
For what purpose? Repeat the purpose.
Sorry?
What was the purpose of the NPO?
For the severe mental patients.
For caring
Yes.
for
Yes,
severe
Justice.
mental patients.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And let me take you to one of the bundle of documents, that is 7. It should be in front of you. Specifically page 38, no,
Is it not?
it's 2385, I'm sorry. That is bundle
Is this-
7. I'm sorry, it's, no,
Is this
I think it's
bundle?
not before you. You'll be assisted with a copy of that. Uh, 2385.
Could I get a bundle also? Could I take advantage of
7.
you? Ka Setswana ga thwe mogolo o rongwa a eme ka dinao, ke re mo? Ke a leboga. A ke itse lobakeng o ile kae, o na le mo? Thank you.
2385, are you there?
Yes.
Ms. Franks?
Yes, Councillor.
Do you know what document is that?
It's the license from which we received from Health Department.
That is your license.
Yes.
And when did you apply for it?
Okay, I applied for it in April.
In April.
Yes.
And do you see the date when it was issued there?
Yes, I do.
That is the 1st of April,
April, yes.
2016.
Yes, Councillor.
And in relation to that date, when did you apply for it?
Okay, I applied actually, sorry, I'm sorry for that. Okay, when we registered our NPO, we gave all the documents to Health Department,
Yes.
and I'm really not sure what was the date that we gave it to
Yes.
them.
You're not sure about which date?
Yes.
The date on which you applied
that's-
for it?
That's right, Justice.
Yes. Ms. Franks, I'm told that they can't hear you. Can you pull that mic forward to you, that mouthpiece?
Like that?
And both you and council should speak louder, please.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do so. Is it fine?
Yes. You had indicated that you had registered this in order to care for the mentally ill patients. And that is your license for the registration of the NPO.
Yes, Councillor.
Yes. Where were these mentally ill patients going to come from?
Okay, I
Before,
first received...
before you get there, the license purports to have been issued on the 1st of April 2016. But when did you apply for it?
As I'm saying...
You were registered on the 12th of April 2016.
Yeah. My NPO was registered on the 12th of April.
But the license was issued on the 1st of April 2016.
Yes, Councillor.
So the license purports to have been issued 11 days before you received your NPO registration.
Yes,
Is that correct?
Yes, Justice. I don't know whether it was a mistake from our department, but as I'm saying, when I received it, I saw the dates.
Yeah.
And you can't remember when you applied for the license
Okay,
in terms of the Mental Health Care Act?
Okay, we had a meeting in 2015 where they discussed that we can apply for the licenses, but we didn't register as that.
Tell me about the meeting. Where was the meeting?
Okay, the meeting was held at Sterkfontein.
Who convened the meeting? Who called you to the meeting?
Okay, they sent me an email in connection with the meeting.
Justice Seneca, perhaps let me intervene there.
Yes.
There's a bundle of documents in front of you, one of which starts with ELA 49. The next one is 50. The next one is 51. A loose bundle of documents. Do you have them there?
Yes, Councillor.
Okay. What is ELA 49?
This is the meeting that they sent me, the mail that they sent to me.
That is the invitation you
Yes.
have been referring Justice Moseneke to.
That's right.
Okay. You can go ahead and explain that.
Okay, the meeting was just to say, as you can see on the email, the meeting date will be on the issues regarding the life Esidimeni movement. But we didn't receive any minutes from that.
Yes, let me assist you. In the middle of the document there, that is ELA 49, it says, "Dear all." It comes from Jacobus Hana, dated 9 November 2015, 10:25 a.m. Underneath there, it says, "Dear all, in relation to a meeting of NGO that is for 13 November 2015 at 9:30. Please be informed of the meeting scheduled for all NGOs in the regions to attend. Please be informed that an urgent meeting scheduled for the 13 November 2015 for 9:30. The meeting date will be on issues regarding the Life Esidimeni movement. All NGO managers must be present to discuss NGO placement and admission. Venue Sterkfontein Hospital, Auditorium, date 13 November 2015, time 9:30. Kind regards. Is that the email you received, the invitation you received?
Councillor. Yes, Councillor.
Yes?
By then, did you know who Hannah Jacobus is?
No, I didn't know because I was actually working for the NPO of the AFM revival.
Do you know why you were invited?
Because I was just thinking because I was busy with the home for the AFM Revival Center.
Did the NGO you had been working for at the time when this communication or invitation was sent to you, did it take care of mentally ill patients?
Yes, Councillor.
Okay. So you were invited in your capacity as an NGO that takes care of mentally ill patients?
Yes, Councillor.
Okay. Then you responded to this invitation and attended the meeting. I guess that is correct.
Yes, Councillor.
And what were you informed at the meeting?
As I said, we didn't receive any minutes from the meeting, but in the meeting they were just talking about the movement they're going to do at Life.
And I'm correct that as at that time, your NGO, that is Anchor Home or Care or Center, had not as yet been registered.
Yes, Councillor, wasn't registered yet.
And as at that time, you were fully employed by your, that is the NGO you worked for.
That's right, Councillor.
Okay. Then what were you then informed at that meeting about?
Rephrase the question, please, ma'am.
What were you called for at that meeting?
Okay, they called us if we can extend our NGO,
Yes.
or you can open up a new one.
So it was an invitation for those who did not have NGOs to form NGOs or register NGOs to take care of mentally ill patients.
That's right,
And
Councillor.
where were these patients going to come from?
Sorry, which patients?
Where were these mentally ill patients going to come from for the new NGOs?
The
Yes.
one that we had on AFM?
No.
Okay.
You had said that you were advised to extend your existing NGOs or to form new NGOs. For what purpose?
So they will be coming from Life.
Life is the main.
That's right.
Okay. And were you informed when were those patients going to come through to
No,
those NGOs?
They didn't specify the dates.
Who chaired the meeting?
It was Dr. Malamela.
Did you say they were going to remove patients receiving mental health care from Life Esidimeni to NGOs?
Yes, Justice.
Did you say why they were going to do that?
No, Justice.
Did you ask why are they moving these mentally ill patients from Esidimeni
I
to
didn't.
yourselves?
I didn't ask in the meeting.
Yes. And were you ever required to be, or to have acquired some experience in this field of taking care of mentally ill patients before you could receive patients from Life as the Main, or what?
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
No.
So anyone else without experience could just receive patients from Life as the Main.
Okay, for me, it was only because I was working with the patients from the AFM Revival Center.
What else was required other than the registration for a new NGO to receive patients, as was explained by Dr. Manamela, if it was explained at the meeting?
That was actually not explained, but as I'm saying, it was only because I was running the NPO where I take care of the mentally patient.
So,
And you decided to register your own NGO.
Yes, Justice. Justice.
And you called it Anchor Center.
Yes, Justice.
And was your plan to operate separate and away from your employer of the time?
Yes, Justice.
But you had no qualifications, you've already told us,
Yes.
of taking care of mentally ill patients.
Okay, what happened? Because Okay, on the NPO that I was running, there was all the nurses and care workers that work there.
Okay, just listen to the question again, and I want an answer from you. You had no qualifications in mental health care, is that right?
Yes, Justice.
You had no experience in looking after people requiring mental health care.
Yes, Justice.
You could either learn something by qualifications or by experience, but you had neither. You didn't have qualifications and you didn't have experience. Is that correct?
Yes, Justice.
But you went ahead and registered your own NGO,
Yes, Justice.
and you went ahead and applied for a license under the Mental Health Care Act.
Yes, Justice.
At the meeting, did they tell you what you were going to be paid? I'm talking about the meeting of the 13th of November 2015 at Sterkfontein.
No, they didn't talk about any pay that we're going to get.
Did you talk about how you would look after these patients if you didn't talk about money?
Okay, because as I'm saying, because I was working with AFM Revival Centers, mental patients, and there was an amount that they gave to them. So we submitted documents to Health Department for the AFM Revival Center.
Yes, you got to put your voice just a little louder, please, so we can record it. We are recording what we are doing here. What amount did they say they were going to pay an NGO that had applied for and was granted a license?
Okay, at that time, the amount that they paid for per person was 3,490.
3,490 per person. For how long? For a month? For a week?
For a month.
For a month. So they would pay you 3,490 rand per patient per month.
Yes, Justice.
Counsel?
Yes. And this 3,490, that is per person monthly, is this what your previous NGO used to claim from the department or what?
That's right, yes. But it was a little bit lower then they increased the price.
It was a little bit lower than 3,490. Okay. When did they increase it?
It was, I think, in April. I'm not sure, but they've got the right dates when they increase it.
And before we proceed on, that, let me take you back to the license. And your license makes reference to the fact that the address from which you are going to be operating is Kalafong Heights. Where is this?
Kalafong Heights is at Kalafong, at the old nurses' quarters.
Yes. And further down there, it says for namely child residential care facility. That is, you were to receive children only.
No, I didn't receive children.
But your license limits you to children only. Is that so?
Yes, Councillor.
And you did not receive children only?
No, no children.
Okay. Now, I'll come to that later on. Then further down, or immediately below, it says maximum number of persons. It's 150.
Yes, Councillor.
And what does this signify is that as at the time when you made your application, you already had premises for 150 or to house 150 patients or what?
I didn't have the premises because why this Kalafong Heights was registered on that.
Yes.
Health department asked me to go and check with Mrs. Jacobus to go and check the premises at Kalafong.
And Hannah Jacobus advised you when?
That was in May. I'm not sure about the correct date. It was in May.
Of which year?
2016.
Remember, your application is, it should precede the issue of the license, which is 1 April 2016.
Yes, Councillor.
Yes. So I want to find out about the processes prior to you obtaining a license, that is a license that limits you to a number of 150 patients. Did you have those premises to house 150 patients?
I didn't have the premises yet.
Yeah. Then how was this number determined?
Okay. They said we must go and look at the premises. There's 4 premises at Kalafong Heights that we can actually use. So the 2 was allocated to me. 1 was already in good condition and the other one was actually not in good condition. It was vandalized and they asked me to renovate the one.
Yes.
And that's where they count how many patients they could take in there.
Yes. You had said that they advised you to go and look at premises. Who are these they and
Okay,
when did they told
it's-
you to do so?
It's, as I'm saying, I know it's in May, early May, and it was Anna Jacobus and Dr. Malamela.
Okay. So,
But, well, when we cut to the chase, we know you had no qualifications and no experience to take care of people suffering from mental disability. You had no premises, right?
Yes, Justice.
When you received your license, you had no actual patients, did you?
No, Justice.
When your license permitted you to look after 150 people, there was no rational basis for that.
Yes, Justice.
We can take it further. You had no staff to look after the 150 people. You were yet to establish a caring facility, isn't it so?
Okay, just in that sense that when I was working at the AFM, I was liaising with Health Nikon that all the care workers are working with. So I liaised with them so
But for
that...
Anchor Life, you had employed nobody.
No.
Do you have a staff?
Well, I didn't at that moment, but I liaised with them.
In May 2016, you had a piece of paper in your hand called a license. That appears on page 2385 of the bundle. Is that right?
2, 3?
The license.
Okay. Yes, Justice.
That's about all that you had then. You had no patients, you had no premises, you had no employees to do the work.
Yes, Justice.
Did you have money? Had they given you this 3,490 rand per person per month?
No, I didn't add any money. I was just using my own pension money.
When for the first time did they pay you?
In September,
2015,
2016.
16. Did they pay you for
20
did they pay you for 150 people?
No, Justice.
They paid you for how many people?
Only the patients that came in at Cullinan. It
And
was,
how many were they?
Okay, it was 69.
69. And did they pay you for the arrears from April, May, June, July, August?
Not from April, but from June, when I took the first patients in.
And what was the gross amount that you received in September 2016?
Can I just have a look, Justice?
We can multiply 3490 times 69 times 5 months.
Sorry, Justice, I'm just looking for the June month one.
Yes. But from what you told us so far, it's quite a straightforward sum, actually.
Okay, but it was 239. I don't see June now here. I don't know why.
239,000 rand.
239,000.
239,000.
Is it not 500, over 500?
Okay, because
It's not 535.
have you got it there? Because I see I didn't.
I think it should be 535.
That's right,
somewhere.
yes.
1,000.
Thousands.
Yeah, for June.
No, it's fine. We'll come to that.
But what is the answer? Let me get the answer. You said you received how much? Simple calculation, I'm told, is 539,000.
Yes, for the
But
3 months.
For the,
Yeah,
that's the
from
amount,
June, July, and August.
yes, is that the amount that you received?
That's right, yes.
Very well. Council, proceed.
Yes,
It's just over 500,000.
yes. Now we know that you didn't have premises. You were advised by Hannah Jacobus and Dr. Manamela to go and renovate some premises at Kalafong Heights. Where did you end up? Did you occupy those premises? Or
No counselor.
which premises did you occupy?
Cullinan.
Cullinan.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
When did you occupy Cullinan?
From June
June 2016.
16, June 2016.
Okay. Did you have a lease with Cullinan?
No, I didn't have.
Then how did you come to occupy Cullinan?
Okay, it was also through Dr. Malamela and Hannah. They arranged.
Yes. So you went to Kalafong Heights. You could not occupy those premises identified for you by Hannah Jacobus and Dr. Manamela. And why couldn't you occupy those premises?
Okay, the problem was we renovated one place and they said they will bring out the inspectors just to check the place because it was a double story, just to make sure that it is okay for the mental patients. And when the inspectors came out, they said they failed the place, that we couldn't occupy the place.
The Kalafong Heights.
Yes.
Okay. Then you went back to Dr. Manamela and Jacobus. They led you to that is Cullinan.
Actually, right there, when they failed the place, they said they will see whether there's other hospitals that have a place open, wards open.
And where were the patients in all this time?
There was no patients
Between
yet.
May and, and
Yeah.
when you went to Cullinan? You had not received any patients yet?
There was no, we didn't receive any patients yet.
And when was the first time that you received patients after your occupation of Cullinan?
It was the 23rd of June.
How many were these patients you received?
30 patients from Cullinan.
Okay. And were these children, or it was just a mixed group?
That's right, Councillor.
How many were children and how many were adults?
Actually, they were all over 18.
All over 18.
That's right.
So they were all adults.
Yes.
So did you inform Dr. Manamela and Hannah Jacobus that your license limited you to receiving children only?
Sorry, just repeat, Councillor.
Did you inform Hannah Jacobus and Dr. Manamela that your license limited you to receiving children and not adults?
No, I didn't.
You didn't, okay. And
Why didn't you?
Okay, because they said I'm going to look after patients for adults over 18.
Didn't you say to them, my license says this will be a child residential care facility? Did you tell them
So
that?
according to me, it should be from over 18.
But look at the license.
Yes.
And that's what council is putting to you. For persons with severe, profound intellectual disability, namely a child residential care facility, maximum number of persons 150. Can you see that?
Yes, Justice.
So my question is, why didn't you say to them, my license is limited to a child care facility?
No, I didn't, Justice. Because as I'm saying, according to me, it was just severe, profound intellectual disabled. And I was looking after patients from 18 and upwards.
But why didn't you know this? It was in your license. And Dr. Manamela signed the certificate, your license. Did she ask you to look after adult patients when she issued the license to you?
No, they just say that it will bring in the patients from life.
And you just accepted them. But you're the manager.
I didn't take note on
This is
the-
your anchor light, your anchor
Yes, because as I'm-
center. Why didn't you say, no, my license doesn't allow it?
As I'm saying, I didn't, I'm sorry, that line was not, according to me, I had to look after patients over 18 and
You're
upwards.
sorry about what? What about that line that talks about,
That's the child
Childcare.
residential.
I beg your
Yeah.
pardon?
The child,
What about it?
okay. As I'm saying, previously I was looking after 18 years and upwards, and that's what I know of. Now I just noted that the license was for child.
Didn't you read your license once it
I
was
did.
issued to you?
They brought the licenses and we just filed them. I didn't take note of their child.
But why didn't you take note of the terms of the license? Why not? Why did you just file it?
As I'm saying, to me, I don't know whether they maybe made a mistake on this license. But as far as I know, it should be 18 years and upwards.
Andithi sesivumelene andithi uthi nizosibamba ngithi abantu bakithi ngiyacela please in a rally you can heckle, not here, because we have to get to the truth, right? So we don't heckle witnesses, please. Just allow the lady to help us get to the truth. You did not read the license, you say?
Yes, as I'm saying, because I was looking after patients that's 18 and upwards, and that is what they actually have to put on the
Did they
license.
force you to do this? To register Anchor Center? To want to set up at Kalafong Heights and then to move on to Cullinan and thereafter to receive patients? Were you compelled to do it?
Okay, no, they actually, it was only in that meeting that they said, if you want to, you can go and look after that patient.
But you were acting voluntarily. You wanted
Yes.
to do this.
Yes, Justice.
Why did you want to do it?
Because I was already working with these patients.
But to do it, you needed a number of things to be in place, isn't it? You
Yes.
needed a venue,
Yes, Justice.
you needed a license, you needed the knowledge and skill, you needed money,
Yes, Justice.
and you needed to care for the people. Is it not so? Not just to make money, to look
No,
after
no,
them.
it was to care for these patients.
Counsel.
Thank you, Justice Mstanek. We know now that they moved you to Cullinan Center because Kalafong Heights was not suitable for you to occupy. And the premises you occupied at Cullinan, were they catered for 150 patients?
No.
How many?
Counsellor. Okay, it was actually for, the one ward was take 25 and 30.
Okay. And you received one ward for 25. And when did you receive this one ward for 25 patients?
The patients
Yes.
on the 23rd of,
On the 23rd.
yes,
Then on the 23rd,
23rd of which month? Of
23rd.
June 2016.
that's right,
Thank you.
Counsellor.
and the 23rd of June 2016, that is the date on which you received your first, that is first patients.
Yes, Counsellor.
And it will house 25, and you said you received 30.
Yes, Counsellor.
Why was that so?
Okay, as I'm saying, the patients that came in from our CCRC on the 23rd,
Yeah.
we told them we can only put 25 in,
Yes.
but that date when they brought the patients in, they said that this is the patients that was allocated for me, it was 30, and I said I don't have any space for them. And the previous CEO from Cullinan, Hannah and Mr. Mukhale,
Yes.
I mean Mrs. Jacobs and Mr. Mukhale was there, and they said, I said to her, I can't host this 30 patients, so she went to the CEO, and the CEO actually just come and say, we must just deal with it.
What does just deal with it mean?
For the 30 patients that they,
You must take the 30%.
yes, so we had to get some extra 5 beds and to fit it in for them.
Within the same ward
Yes,
that could house only 25 beds.
25.
Okay. Well, then the next ward, when did you receive it?
Was the 29th
29th of
June.
June.
Where did the extra people sleep?
We got beds for them because we had extra beds, but we didn't, it wasn't in the cubicles.
And in relation to this license, who delivered it to you?
It was Rochelle Gordon.
And Dr. Manamela was aware that you received this license.
Yes,
And-
counselor.
And I'll take it that she was aware to the limitations on this license.
Yes, counselor.
Okay. Yes. Then the next ward, you receive it, and when do you receive the next batch of patients? You had said that you receive around 70.
Okay, what happened, the other ward was occupied by the other NGO, Siabadinga.
Siabadenga.
Yes.
Yes.
And Dr. Malamela and Hannah came one day and they said to Siabadinga, she must occupy 2 wards and I must occupy 2 wards. So she must make space that I can use the other.
How many,
Wards.
how many patients were supposed to be housed in the second ward?
Okay, there was also, no, on the other side was 30.
30 as well.
Yes,
And I guess that you received more than 30
yes.
by virtue of the number of patients you had referred to earlier on.
Yes, Councillor.
How many were those?
Those patients was 40 when they came in.
And I take it that you were forced to look for further beds to be placed in that ward, that is the second ward.
Ye-
Did
Yes,
you?
Councillor, yes, Councillor.
And this is a ward that normally took how many people?
Okay, the one ward 25 and the one 30.
So the 31 had 40 people,
Yes,
the one for 25 had 30 people.
that's right, Justice.
And just to emphasize, this was throughout with the arrangement and consent of Dr. Manamela.
Yes, Councillor.
Okay. And let me take you to one of the loose bundle of annexures, that is Annexure 50, that is ELA 50. Are you there?
Yes, Councillor.
What is that document? I see there's a list of names there from 1 to 30.
Yes, this is the patients that I received from CCRC.
These will be the patients you received on the 23rd of June.
Yes, Councillor.
Okay. And the next page,
Is the patients that we discharged to Ethel Nube from Precious Angels.
when did you discharge these patients?
Okay, according to the list, there's different dates on that we discharged them. But on the 29th, she took the first patients when they came in from life.
Let's take it step by step. On the second page, at the top, there's a column there. It says name, surname, institution, date admit, date transfer, information handed over to. Where do I find the date of, that is the date on which you transferred them to Precious
Okay, there
Angels?
is a date there that shows date transferred.
Date transfer.
Yes.
Those are the dates. So, for example, you received, under institution, you received patients from CCRC. Is that, am I correct still?
Yes, yes, Councillor.
The first column. And you received this on the 23rd of June 2016. Then the following month, on the 6th of July 2016, you transfer them to Precious Angels.
Yes, Councillor.
Why was that so?
Okay, the DDG was there to come and inspect the place with Dr. Malamela and Hannah.
Yes.
And he actually asked them, is there males and females here?
Yes.
So we said yes, but the males were separate from the females in different cubicles. And he said they must make sure that all these ladies must be out by the latest in July.
In July. So, you correct me if I'm wrong, is that you had housed both female, that is, you took in both females
And males.
and males in at the same, that is into the same ward.
Yes, Councillor.
And you were approached by Hannah Jacobs that the DGG is coming. Please separate these patients. Males must be separate from females.
No, we did separate them before then
Yeah.
in different cubicles, but the DGGs just said males and females mustn't be under one roof.
Under one roof. That is, they must not occupy one ward,
That's right.
the same ward.
That's right,
Okay.
Councillor.
That
Before
explains.
then, were they occupying same wards?
Yes, Justice.
Just before you proceed, Council, on LR 50, on the first page, extreme right hand, you have a heading there that reads patient files. Can you see that? You know this document that you gave us?
The
Well,
first
the few
page of
quest-
LR50.
Yes.
First page of LR50.
In fact, I've numbered those pages from 1 to 7 for ease of reference. LR51, LR52, 3, 4. But for now, we are on page 1. Can you see that?
Yes, Justice.
On the extreme right hand, after CRC date of admission, all on the 23rd of June, extreme right, you have a heading patient files. And you've recorded uniformly against all 30 patients, no history, no files, no ID, only medical report and discharge forms. Just explain that to me.
Okay, when the patients came in, they brought them in with no files, only with that medication and a small, I didn't note it here, discharge form and a behavioral report. That's all they gave us. They didn't give us any files.
Medical report, what was that?
Okay, the medical report is the prescription and
So medical report means the prescription of the patient.
yes, doctor. Yes, Justice.
Was there no file with diagnosis, with history, with nothing?
No.
And the discharge form was from where? From CRC to you?
From CRC, yes. CCRC.
And there were no IDs in relation to all of them.
Yes, Justice.
How would you have known how to find their next of kin?
That was our problem.
How would you have known who they were with no IDs?
That was one of our concerns when we took the
How
patient.
would you know which medication belongs to which patient?
That was our main concern on that. But the prescription just wrote a name and a prescription.
And if one looks at LR 50 on page 2, -- 6th July would have been something like 2 weeks from the admission of these patients. And I see the names are mainly female on pages 2 and 3, and all are taken to Precious Angels. Is that correct?
Yes, Councillor. Sorry, Justice.
And surely you could only give Precious Angel what you have too, which was virtually no records about these ladies.
Yes, Councillor. It's Justice.
And did they tell you why they shunted around like cattle like this?
Okay,
Like
as I said,
brought to you in 1 week, and next time you go and give them to somebody else. 30 females within 2 weeks.
yes, Justice.
Why did you do that?
Okay, that's what's the instruction from the DDG.
Dr. Manamela, who's the DDG?
I don't know, it was a man, I can't remember what was his name, but Dr. Malamela and them was also there, but he said.
Dr.
that
Manamela was also there.
Yes. But
And you were told the DDG gave these instructions. You bring people. When you originally told you received people from Life Esidimeni, and now you're receiving people from CRC, did that surprise you?
Yes, Justice, but I don't know why I received it from CCRC.
And you have people for 2 weeks, and then they are bundled out of there. Then they must go to Artridgeville from Cullinan. Did they tell you why these people deserved that treatment?
As I'm saying, it was just the instruction from the department.
And did you think that's the correct way to deal with mentally ill patients?
Okay, they didn't give us any option then because the health department must actually make sure that they are placed with another NGO.
Did you think that was the correct way to deal with mentally ill
No,
patients?
no, Justice,
You did not think it was correct.
no. But you couldn't say anything
Why not?
because it was instruction from from the DGD.
But you didn't work for them. Why did you have to take instructions from the DDG? Was it because if you had to refuse, they wouldn't pay you?
Not actually, but just because it's from the health department, they actually know better than us. That's what I thought.
You thought it wasn't right to do it, but you did it nonetheless. So the natural question is, why did you do it?
Just because it was an instruction from health department.
You knew it was wrong, but because it was an instruction, you did it.
Yes.
Why? Why would you do something knowingly wrong? You don't work for the department. For instance, take men and women and put them into the same ward. Why would you do that? What were you afraid of?
I was not actually afraid, but they just gave us instructions, and it was actually because he said it, and he said Hannah and Mr. Michale must make sure they take that ladies out of that wards.
Council.
Thank you. In line with what Justice Msanek had asked you about, a series of questions, is it correct that you did not have a formal lease agreement with Cullinan?
Sorry, Councillor?
Did you have a formal lease agreement with Cullinan?
No, I didn't.
And how much were you paying for your occupation of the premises there?
At that time, I didn't pay anything yet.
You
Because,
didn't pay anything?
Yes, Councillor.
Okay, thank you. So you basically were at the mercy of these officials.
Yes, Councillor.
What messy? Why were you there messy? If you didn't do what they wanted, you wouldn't have received 539,000 rand, isn't it?
Justice, as I can say, it was really not about the money, but I did it because they asked me to do it, and I was really having that passion.
Why did you agree to do what they asked you to do?
Because,
we're trying to understand what happened here.
yes,
I'm sure Council is going to take you to the number of people who died under your care. You know that. We're going to get there just now.
yes,
And all the advocates are going to be asking you. After all this and the nice money, many people died under your care in a very short space of time. So why did you do this? Why did you do something that endangered the lives of these vulnerable patients? You say it's
if
not
I
about
may
money.
say, I don't know
is it
what,
about?
if I may say, I don't know what did they decide in health department, but we,
No, I want to know what you decided. I want to know why you did it. And why you assumed to look after people over whom you had no skill to look after. Why did you do that?
okay, I was looking after these patients because I really cared for them.
You really cared for them.
Yes, Justice.
That's why you squeezed 30 people into a ward of 25 and mixed men and women into this crowded circumstances. Where did they wash?
Dr. Malamela and Franz and Hannah, all the people from health department actually help us actually through this.
Instructed you to do this.
That's right.
But didn't you think and feel for them? How do you crowd men and women into one space, having been moved from some institution, and you just carry on? At least, what, 5, 6 months? Is that how you cared for them?
I really, really cared for them, Justice, because the patients that was there with me, I really make them really comfortable.
Council.
Thank you, Justice. And whilst we are still on LR 50, this document, and this, it's 1, 2, 3, the 4th page. Could you explain what is that document? This one.
This is the patients that was in our care.
Yes. Is this a full list or what does it represent?
Yes, Council.
It's how many for the record? Can you say that into the record?
Yes. 72.
72. Between these two wards.
Yes, but the first, on the 29th, directly there was patients transferred to Pumi. They didn't even come in on my premises.
Yes. So this includes the patients which you were directed to transfer to
Yes, Councillor.
Precious Angels.
Yes.
Okay.
And why do you call your center a center for intellectual disabled. Or let's phrase it the other way,
The mental.
where all the people who were under your care people who were, to use your words, intellectually disabled?
No,
Or-
Justice.
No.
No.
You took whatever came there.
Yes, they just,
Whatever their disabilities were, you took them on.
they
Why
brought
did
him
you
to
do
me.
that again?
They brought him into me.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, that's the patients that they brought in from life.
Yeah, but you claim to be a center for intellectually disabled people, and why do you take just about any person is brought to you?
Okay, as I wanted to say this, when they brought the patients in, I asked them that there's patient that is not intellectual, and there's patients that it's not, has to be in a hospital. So according to them, they will sort it out afterwards.
So you just listened to them,
They
bringing
said-
people who don't fall within the category that you
And then-
claim you want to look after.
Yeah, and then they said they will come and take the patients which is not suitable after everybody was just settled in.
And why do you go along with all this, endanger the lives of these patients? And if it's not for money, why? For what reason?
Thank you, Justice. Justice Mseneka, I'm advised that it's 11:30.
Yes. We will adjourn now until 12 midday.